All right. Thank you so much for joining Lunch Break Learning with Coach Shaquan. I'm so excited to be here for another week of learning where you can take a break from work and we can start working on the breakthrough within yourself to help you get the things you want, the things you dream about, help you build better relationships. I say from the bedroom to the boardroom and everywhere in between. So I want to introduce myself. Coach Shaquan, that's my not my government name, but that's what we go by. I study how people communicate, connect, and show up in personal and professional relationships. I started this journey after I say a 13-year stint, if you will, in corporate America. And yeah, during that time, I got married, had my first son, uh, then turned around 3.5 years later, had my second son, and just remember uh, wanting more than the life I had. I was struggling as a wife and struggling as a mother, like figuring it out. I was not a good employee. It showed in my work, and I needed something different. I needed to make a change, yet the biggest thing for me was money. Okay. And so our conversation today, the title is called, we're going to talk about needs versus wants, and it's not about the money. Okay. It's not about the money. So going back to the story that I'm telling, when I left or when I was in corporate America and I was really going through this process of figuring it out, if you will, like who am I? What am I doing? I knew that there was something inside of me that I didn't belong in the space that I was in, yet I didn't know where else to go. And so I remember thinking, okay, well, I like helping people and I really like talking about relationships. And at the time, I had started collectively with a group of friends. We were doing this thing called CIL, which stood for Couples in Love. We would get together monthly at someone's house, and I would always come with my notebook full of questions, and I would be the one leading and asking all of these thought-provoking questions. And it really started to take off. And I'm like, okay, so this is what I want to do. I'm going to go back and get my master's in counseling. Yeah, then I had really thought about it, and I was like, I got this whole husband, these kids. I kind of don't know that I feel like going back to school like that. And furthermore, everybody got no money for that. What am I getting ready to do? I got a whole mortgage. Like, I don't have money for that. So stumbled across coaching. I was doing some searching in the algorithms, of course, on the computer, started bringing up like all these advertisements for life coaching. I'm like, well, what's a life coach? And so I started investigating or kind of looking through it, and I found three programs that I really liked. The one program that was heavy on my heart, I did the initial consultation, and it felt like the best fit for me. And when I got the paperwork, and they told me that it was going to be I think like eight, right at 9 grand, and that was without travel fees and all of the hotel and food, like all of that was on my own. So when I calculated it out, I'm like, gosh, I had to travel from St. Louis to Chicago for three times within the year. Again, that was 2 nights of hotel. So it's 2 for 6 nights of hotel, plus 3 meals because they did not include any meals. And because of the time schedule, we really had to eat at the hotel. Now, y'all know how the hotel fees be, right? The one salad, and this was back in 2013, the one salad was like $22. I'm like, I ain't got it. So I was like, I can't do it. I can't do it. I wanted to do it. And at some point I needed to do something different. I was like, I can't, who got money? Who got $10,000 just laying? I don't have that. And so I sat on it for a year of complaining, a year of struggling. I said I was sacrificing, yet I was settling. I said that I was compromising, and yet I just was completely holding myself back because I didn't have the money to get into this coaching program. And so after a year, I was talking with, I call her my friend, my cousin friend, and I'm complaining, right? I'm complaining about work. I'm complaining about, finances and how, like, I'm just complaining about everything. Everything is so expensive and this is this. And she said, well, why don't you do that coaching program? I was like, cuz like, it's going to be like $10,000. I don't have it. And she said to me, if you don't invest in yourself, who else will? Have y'all ever had someone say something to you? Maybe it was me. Hello. That took you, like it just blew your mind, like that sentence, that line, that word, like something just got me. And I was like, oh my gosh, I never thought about investing in myself. I didn't know what that meant, what that looked like. And I found myself calling the coaching program and saying, hey, I want to move forward. I took out a student loan and I moved forward with the program. Well, fast forward, I ended up, and I'll tell this in another story. I ended up leaving my job. Kind of was about to be fired, and things worked out. I was able to walk away with the severance, but it literally happened between like 2 weeks. So I always say, like, Monday I was an employee, and on Friday I was an entrepreneur and didn't have any plan, like no plan, no savings for it, no like plan of what I was getting ready to do with the rest of my life. Like I had none of that. I knew that I wanted to do that. I knew that I wanted to even more so than run a business, I wanted to be a relationship coach, a life and relationship coach. That's what I really wanted. And so as I went through that process, and I'll incorporate some of this story a little later in our conversation, I began to really think about one thing, and that was the money. And I prayed, and this is a true story. When I left my job, and the severance was, and if you've ever experienced the process of a severance, like I didn't get my full paycheck, like bonuses and commissions and those things weren't in there. So that took out a pretty nice chunk of what my income had been. And again, we went from two family income to one, like that, like at the drop of a dime. And I remember praying and asking God to help me to never have to worry about the money. Please don't let me worry about the money. And so over the course of this, I started to really look into what it meant to have needs and wants. Okay. Needs and wants. So this is where you might want to get some of your writing utensils down, because I'm about to break some things down for you. Okay. Needs versus wants. We don't pay enough attention to how we respond and react to these differences between what you need, which needs are defined as those essentials for living, essentials for survival, basic needs, food, water, shelter. Some people may say healthcare. Those things are need. Okay. So you need those things in order to get by at a minimum, here's the key, minimum level of satisfaction. Okay. So if you want to break down needs, let's just say needs are what you need, right, for essentials at a minimum level of satisfaction. Okay. Wants, on the other hand, wants are those desires of our hearts. They're luxuries. They enhance the quality of our life. They're not necessary for survival, yet they're not necessary for survival. And there are things they wants are things that we could do without, yet we prefer not to. Okay. We will get what we want, period. Who want to go see Beyonce? Huh? Let me know in the chat. So we have some people who have joined live. Let me know in the chat who saw Beyonce, right? Despite the 200 and something dollar, this was the Renaissance tour, right? The 2023 Renaissance tour. I wanted to see Beyonce, and it didn't matter how much it cost, right? How much money I had to spend. I wanted to see. I see some hand raised, like, yes, that was me. I wanted to see Beyonce, and I didn't care. I was going to see Beyonce, right? And so we have gone through this process of making ourselves believe that we don't have the money to do the things that we want to do. And I'm here to say, check your BS, right? Check the belief systems that you've created, because you have enough to do whatever you want to do. Okay. We didn't need to see Beyonce. We wanted to see Beyonce. So let's take this concept back, and I want you in the chat, if you feel so inclined, you may respond to everyone or send a personal message to me. Think about something that you need that you've been putting off, right? Something that you've needed to invest in, something that you've needed, again, at a minimum level of satisfaction, right? Something that you need, yet you haven't really gone forward or moved with it because of money. Okay. Truth and transparency. I'm about to tell you, Lord, I'm about to tell the people. Okay. Okay. There's a couple things. So we need a third vehicle. I have a new driver in the house, and I'm like, I ain't no money. I just, right. But guess what? I saw a handbag that I wanted, and guess what? I found the money to do that. Hmm. Anybody else? Yes. I see in the chat someone said exercise. Yes, that's a great example, right? We need and may need to to work out or to start an exercise routine or to join a gym or to get a personal trainer, right? At the minimum level of satisfaction for our health and for our wellness, we may need that. Yet we tell ourselves, I can't do that, right? I don't have that. Someone says meal prepping, right? It's healthier. And this person says, I've been stubborn about it. Yeah. And, guess what? We will pass on our needs, even though they may be at the minimum level of satisfaction, even though our needs are sometimes tied to survival, we will absolutely positively forego that in order to because our BS, right? Our belief system tells us we can't afford it, right? We don't have enough money, right? We gotta, what they say, rob Peter to pay Paul. Like we're switching things around and doing things and moving things all to avoid that need. Yet when the want comes up, something small, you may want to get something to eat, right? Right. You didn't have, you may not have had enough money to make an investment, a personal investment in a trainer or to do meal prepping. These are some of the examples that we have here, to exercise any of those things. Yet we found the money or found a way to do something else and probably messed off some money, right, frivolously, uh, because we wanted it. Okay. So keep in mind, we have everything we need to get what we want. Okay. You have everything you need at a minimum level of satisfaction. You have the things that you need to get what you want. So, what is this BS, this belief system that's blocking us when it comes to money? When it comes to really saying, how much will I invest in myself? How much will I invest in my gift and my purpose? And why we don't hire coaches, why we don't get therapists, why we don't go for certifications, why we don't invest in, if you have a business or an entrepreneurial spirit, why don't we do those things? Because we've created the BS that we don't have it. Okay. I don't have it. So let's talk about the mental blocks that are embedded into the BS of not having enough or not having the money. Because again, if you want it, the question really is how bad do you want it? And what will you be willing to do to get it? Okay. How bad do you want it? And what would you be willing to do to get it? That's a huge thing. So when we're talking about these mental blocks, there's three that I want to share with you today. The first one is the scarcity mindset. Has anyone heard of the scarcity mindset? Okay. What does it mean to have a scarcity mindset? Well, we operate from this space and keep this belief system that our resources are limited, right? That if I spend here, then I won't have enough for this, right? So we will forego, again, let's keep in mind, sometimes we forego the things that we want because at a basic level, we need to make that particular investment or spend that particular money in another space. Yet, think about the things that you want. Very simple things. You want to get your nails done? Oh, you got money to get your nails done, right? You want to get your hair done? You got money to get your hair done. We look at these different things and we say that we don't have the money. It's not about the money. It's about how bad do you want it? How much do you believe that this level of investment, whatever it may be, is going to get you to the next level? It's going to help you break through the barriers that you've created. And so having that scarcity mindset, operating that my resources are limited, I can't move forward, I can't make this investment, I can't take this class, is going to keep you stuck where you are. And then at the end of the day, you go home, you lay down, or you're up at 2 a.m. and you're blaming yourself, you're beating yourself up, you're going through the woulda, shoulda, couldas, you're thinking of what if. You are doing comparison on social media. Let's tell the truth, right? You go on social media, you see someone that's doing what you want to do, that said what you wanted to say. They're being someone who you desire to be in your own right. Yet your scarcity mindset is saying that I don't have the resources to spend and or to invest in my personal growth. Does that make sense? Okay. Our next mental block, fear of judgment. Oh. Now, fear of judgment, and I'll tell you, fear of judgment is something that I struggled with from the age of 5. And I think I may have said this in a previous session of our lunch break learning. Age of 5 is when now, right, I had to go back and do the work and really understand the source of my BS, my belief system around the fear of judgment. And it really came back to an age of 5. And how that has materialized, if you will, over the years is sometimes that fear of judgment comes in. We don't want to make the investment or spend the money because we feel guilty, or we are reinforcing this idea that our personal growth is not really a priority, that we'll get to it when we can, right? Or I can figure it out by myself. Fear of judgment is what you think they think about you. And so there's an unconscious energy mindset, right? And I like to do this because our thoughts, our draining, destructive, fear-based thoughts are beating in the back of our unconscious mind every second, right? It just happens. It's going on right now. Whether you're here with us live, whether you're watching or listening to the replay, like there are other thoughts that are going on in the back of your mind that are blocking you from making an investment in yourself. So it's not about the money. You have the money. You have what you need to get what you want. Yet the fear of judgment, what will people think? Oh my gosh, if I spend all of this money, or what if it doesn't work? What if I make this investment in this program or this certification, or if I have a business? I'm just throwing an example. Let's just say I have a t-shirt business and the investment is for me to buy shirts in bulk. What if I buy all of these shirts in bulk and I spend all of this money and I do all of these things and then nobody buys the t-shirts? It's a fear of judgment, right? That's a fear of how you think other people will think of you if you move forward. Hmm. Our third mental block is going to be misplaced priorities. Yeah, priorities, they're not misplaced. Yeah, you know exactly where you're placing them, or maybe not. So this prioritizing your needs and your wants is a very real thing, right? So we're looking into what can immediately gratify, or what immediately will solve this desire for whatever you want, right? So my priority, and I said this before, listen, I've done better, help me out. I will go buy a handbag in a minute because I love handbags. So however, I told myself, this was some years back when I was in the building stages of my business. I had got a little coins. I was like, okay, well, let me do this. So I had the choice on purchasing a handbag or making an investment in it was a master, what do you call those things? Like a master group, or it was gosh, what was it? It was a business master. What do you call those things? Y'all help me out in the chat. What are they, like master? It's not the master class. It's like the master group thing. I can't. My mind is escaping me right now. It was a choice between the two of those, and which I think I did because I just told you about the handbag. Because in my mind, I had enough at the minimum level of satisfaction, right, to get what the things that I needed. I did that. The things that I wanted, I didn't feel like I had enough for all of that. So I just got something that would really served as like temporary satisfaction. Okay. Temporary satisfaction of me misplacing the priority because I thought I didn't have the money. Or when we think about the long-term benefits, right? Well, I make this investment in myself. Do I need to do this right now, or can I do something else? So then we begin to talk ourselves out of making investments or getting the things that we really want, right? Because we believe either that's not possible, that it's not going to turn out like I thought it was going to turn out. All types of things come into mind that stop us from really going forward and not worrying about the money. Because the truth of the matter is, when we begin to be in a place of obedience, okay, let's come on, what I tell y'all every week, because for me and the humans in my house, we serve the Lord. Yes. And so when you talk about obedience, and when you think about doing things in spite of knowing, so we're talking about faith walk, we're talking about really stepping into the fullness of who God has created you to be. Money doesn't matter. If I am obedient and I'm doing exactly what I am being assigned, what I've been assigned to do, my purpose, my gifts, all of those things, then I must also have faith, trust, and belief that God is going to take care of all of my needs, minimum level of satisfaction. And through obedience, I will be rewarded with the things that I want. Does that make sense? So in the chat, or for a journal prompt, if you will, I want you to start listing or make a list of the things that you need versus the things that you want currently. What are some things that you need, minimal level of satisfaction, versus some of the things that you want? Because until we can get clear on the difference between the two of those, you'll find yourself playing small, holding back, waiting, wishing, wondering, all of these different things. And it's not pushing you forward into the next assignment, right? Your wholeness, your greatness, what God is calling you to do, and who He has created you to be. I see in the chat again, there's a need for exercise, yet I want jeans. Yes, get the jeans. Who says you can't get the things that you want? We must be also accountable that when I get the jeans, and this is an example that I'm using from what was shared here. And so we can, again, we can change the wording of this at any particular way. If you go for the things that you want, then you must be accountable and mindful not to tell yourself that lie, right? That you can't afford something else, right? I can't afford this. I can't afford that. No, you made a choice to get what you wanted because we go after the things that we want. Have you ever thought about that? Like, I really do get the things that I want. Now, you may not have wanted to, purchase a new water heater because life, or a new windshield because it cracked while you were driving down the highway. I don't want to do that. Who wants to buy a new windshield? Nobody want to do that. Yet, honestly, I put off getting a new windshield when mine cracked because I'm like, I don't need to fix this little windshield because the crack is off to the right side. It's not impairing the view. Like, I'm all right. Yet I had to be accountable to make sure that I didn't tell myself that I didn't have enough money, or like, oh my gosh, I don't want to file. Nope, nope, nope. Lies, 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 lies. Another example, and I'm taking you all again through my life from the bedroom to the boardroom and everywhere in between. Another place, I mentioned that I have a new driver in the house. I was telling him, like, oh, we got to wait before we get insurance on you because I need to see how much it's going to increase. Like, I've got a budget for that. Like, I got to figure that out. Right, right. I don't necessarily, I was hearing stories, people talking about $500 and $600 extra a month for teen drivers. And I'm like, we don't have it. Well, I ended up calling the insurance, and we were having a conversation, and in the middle, right, this is why I love check your BS. And oh, I'm gonna say I promise. If you can begin to understand the framework and the process of checking your BS, it will become such a game changer for how you show up, again, from the bedroom to the boardroom and everywhere in between, checking the belief systems that you're creating in the moment. So I'm on the phone with the insurance lady, and I'm like, yeah, because I got to see how much it's going to cost and if we want to increase. And as I'm bawling, hello, talking to her, it hit me. Oh, this ain't about the money. It's not about the money. This is about your fears that are associated with your son driving. And so my fears were blocking him from experiencing what normal age kids, do at 16. They want to drive. Well, I shouldn't say normal. It's traditional for kids to want to drive. So again, that is just an example of how I made it about the money when it wasn't about the money. Okay? So in the chat or in your journal prompts, or both, I want you to think about a time where you made it about the money, and as you are reflecting, or if you give it a thought, you realize it really wasn't. Okay. And you can share again and just say it was that time where something that happened, or whatever the case may be. But in your journal, because minimal level of satisfaction is a need. I want and encourage you to really think about it. What was that time? Okay. What was that one time? Yeah. So I'm going to go ahead and talk a little bit more about this journey of me getting my certification and the money. So, as I mentioned to you all, I didn't have the money at first to invest in this coaching program. And when I did, I took out the student loan and it was deferred while you were in the coaching program, which was cool because again, I don't have I don't have a source of full-time income now. I'm living off severance and we're readjusting our finances, our family finances and everything. I complete the program and I'm out here. Oh, I'm a coach. I'm a coach who needs a coach. Oh my gosh, I'm doing all the things to promote myself. And I got a website and I took my first professional photos. And guess what? Listen, then people emailed me. It was like, okay, so we can start getting those payments right. And I'm like, wait, hold up. Y'all want your money now? Okay. So I did well for the first couple of months. And if you are in a position of owning a business or in the position of entrepreneurship, then like it's yeah, it's right. So there's no guaranteed income. There is not like I am at the liberty of people who say, yeah, I want to sign up for your services when they do or when they don't. So it was a lot of that going on in the beginning and I defaulted on the loan. I didn't have it. Right. Come 2014, those severance checks stopped, and it was solely me building and growing this business and still being green to the process of entrepreneurship and figuring it out. I didn't have it. Okay. So I was like, okay, well, I'll get back with him. I'll get back with him. Listen, in 2017, was it? So that was 2014, 15, somewhere around in there. I'm sitting at the table helping the kids finish dinner, and my kids were young, helping them finish dinner and everything. And all of a sudden, boom, boom, boom. It was more like a boom, 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 boom on my front door. I'm like, oh my God, who they coming for? Y'all, I straight got served with papers. Okay. I defaulted on the loan. They had sent it to collection. I had not been paying in collection, sent me straight to court. Okay. So from 2017, 18, 19, for 3 years, I went to court 3 times a year for 3 years to talk to the judge and try to get him to drop my case. Because by this time I was about with all of the interest and all of that, it was up to $11,000 and probably some change or whatever that I owed. And I kept going back to that, God, please help me not have to worry about the money. Because even though I wanted to move forward with my career, and even though I wanted those things, I really started putting myself in a position to feel like I couldn't afford it. And every single time, y'all, God showed up and showed out. Okay. All the way to the fact where the judgment came down to me in 2019 and they were like, listen, we don't know what else to tell you. You're going to have to pay this money back. And so I'm just devastated because now I've put my family in deeper debt. And this was on top of the business debt that I had accumulated over the years. And I'm like, I don't know how I'm going to figure this out and how I'm going to do that. And I just remember saying, Lord, I asked you, please help me not to have to worry about the money. And in true God form, and I said I'm saying this out loud, and it makes me nervous to say this. When I start off, I'm like, I'm nervous because I'm going to say this, that because I was obedient to do what God was calling me to do, in spite of not having the money for it, I knew that I wanted it. And at a minimum level of satisfaction, I needed to put myself out there and to be able to serve people as God intended me to do. And so in 2019, got the judgment. I've been waiting or had been waiting to figure out what they were going to do. Was I going to have to be on another monthly payment plans? They had talked about garnishing my husband's check. They talked about putting a lien on our home, like all of these things. And I kept saying, Lord, please help me not to worry about the money. If I am going to be obedient and if I am going to continue to make personal investments in myself and serve at this type of level, please help me not to worry about the money. Now, I would like to think that the year 2020 contributed to my paperwork being lost or whatever the case may be. I can say right here, right now, today, that because of the leap of faith and removing the fear of money in 2013, right now, here I am serving at a level where that loan, I don't know where it is. I don't know where it is. I haven't received a phone call. I have nothing from the court. I don't even know who the collection agency anymore. Money's gone. Okay. That's a hallelujah praise report. And the thing about it that I was telling the judge, and I prayed and I wanted to make sure that I was again in alignment with God's favor. I know for a fact that I have given back that amount and more through spirit-led philanthropy, through 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 the work that I'm doing, through who I have become. And I know that God blessed me in a way that would not have been possible had I made it about the money. You see, you can have the life that you want, the life that you dream about, the person who you want to become, because there will always be a difference between who you were, who you are, and who you desire to be. You can do that. You can be that. We've got to be honest with how bad do we want it? And will we allow the money, right, to tell us these lies that we don't have enough from a scarcity mindset, from a fear of judgment, or misplacing our priorities? You have everything you need, and you can do what you want, invest where you want it. And I'm not saying that money is not important, because it is. What I'm saying is that we won't allow money to be a mental block and be very catabolic, draining, destructive, fear-based, because we think that we don't have it. You have everything you need to get what you want. I want you to take a deep breath in. If you're so inclined, deep breath in and let it out. And one more, deep breath in and let it out. Thank you so much for joining me for this week's Lunch Break Learning with Coach Shaquan. And as we've been doing in the previous weeks, I'm going to end the recording. And if you are here live, stay with me, because we're going to have some different conversation, again, as a bonus, or like I say, an extra lunch break, because we be taking longer than 30 minutes sometimes. Yeah. And we're going to discuss a little bit more about these needs and these wants. Thank you for joining me on this episode. Again, I'm stopping the recording, and I will see you all next time.